All right, so continuing on with Waxwork 2 Lost in Time. And yeah, we'll jump right into it. So, number one ends with the hand crawling away, and this one starts with that very thing. And so, Sarah returns home. She has been recast in this movie. This girl is very attractive, so, I'm not too bummed out about it. And she goes home, and this is where we meet her stepfather, played by George Buck Flower, which I've just, how many freaking movies this guy been in? At least he has a home in this one. At least he's not homeless. But he is abusive to her, which I guess gives us kind of a backstory on where Sarah gets her desires from. I mean, does she want him to dominate her, or I don't know. There's an Alice in Wonderland quote in here in the beginning, and that kind of plays a part throughout this film. Now, I will say this film, it gets pretty fun. It's pretty wild at times. It's more of like an adventure with some horror elements, but once it hits that part with Carl from Die Hard, whatever the fuck his name is in this, Scarabus, isn't that what it is? Yeah, something like that. It slows down considerably. Like, everything's super fun up until that part, and then it's like, I don't know, half an hour or something. I don't know. I'm just fucking guessing here, but that's what it feels like at bare minimum. I was actually falling asleep. Not fucking kidding. I'm kind of tired and it's a little late, but I don't usually do that. Now, these films are over 100 minutes a piece, so there's like 3.5 hours of Waxwork, and that just dragged for me. That scene with Scarabus really fucking dragged, and I was like, oh man, come on, let's go. Everything was going so smoothly, everything was so fun until this long ass unnecessary sequence. There's some fun to be had within it, but for the most part it's all just kind of throwaway for me. So I feel like that really brings this film down, an otherwise fun movie. And what a difference. Like, this movie is totally changed. Like, there's similarities, of course. You got a reoccurring characters, and you've got the teleportation, dimensional displacement. I don't know what the hell to call it, but you got those kinds of elements. They're, of course, jumping from one kind of genre to the next, or subgenre of horror to the next. But I don't know. It definitely feels like a different film, which it is. Of course, it's a different film, but you know what I mean. It doesn't. It feels connected enough, but in a good way. I think this is a good thing. Like, change it up. You don't want to watch the same fucking movie over and over again, do you? So I do like that it's different enough that I felt like I was watching something unique and original in this universe, but also tied just enough. Now, the whole story behind why this even needs to be a thing, because they're like, oh, you need to kill everything, otherwise this and that, and it's like a hand gets out. The hand is taken care of, and now Sarah is going to go on trial for the murder of her stepfather, along with possibly the 200 victims of the Waxwork Museum, as we find out. But this whole movie is essentially because of Sarah's trial and them trying to get her up. I guess she made bail because she was able to just get on right out of there during a murder investigation, so that she could go and get evidence to, free herself. So, yeah, she's looking for a total exoneration, and yeah, I mean, that's what this whole damn movie's about. So here we go. I like that Buckflower has a generic beer. I always talk about this beer, the white can with the blue writing and the lowercase BEER just right across the can. That's all it says anywhere on the can. Love it. I've seen it in everything from Married with Children to, like, anything in the 90s. I feel like used this can. Like, no product placement, just generic beer. Always love seeing that can. And not really sure why now this movie plays pretty damn silly, so kind of like I said in the last one, You can't take this seriously. That being said, we're still going to have fun and take it seriously enough to joke about it. But George Buck Flowers' character here, the stepdad, just waiting as this hand by itself goes full Evil Dead 2, runs across the entire room with a hammer, holding a hammer. That hammer's got to weigh more in the hand itself. I'm not sure how it even pulled it forward, but it does. So it only has like 3 fingers to run with as it's holding a hammer. Pretentious douchey pens back. Awesome. And so he like runs it across the room to the guy, and then just starts hitting him over the head. How this is possible? How a hand could like lift itself up and hit when it has to like crawl itself across the ground. Who cares? It's pretty funny, but I'm just like, get up. This is a pretty simple fix. Like, it could have hit you in the toes, but that's better in the head, right? It only hits him a few times, and I guess he dies from it, so there you go. Then she shoves it down the garbage disposal, and just like another Evil Dead 2 homage here, we just get blood just pouring in the face. Pretty funny stuff. And then, yeah, she's arrested and tried. Thank you. I was talking about this in movies, like, yeah, even though you survived this night, you're going to jail. Like, good luck explaining that a waxwork museum came to life and you had to, you know. So I like that she's on trial, and it's like, yeah, you can't prove any of this shit. And she's like, watch me. Watch me. I'm going to become a time fucking adventurer, whatever the hell he calls himself. Time fighter, or what the hell does he call himself in this? Man, I tell you, I was falling asleep during some of that because, fuck, it got boring for a bit. No tits in this movie. No tits in the last movie. Anthony Hickox, what the fuck, man? No tits? You got good gore. Very little cussing, too. Very little. Like, I want to say there was only, like, 1 fuck in this entire movie. So, gore is fine. I mean, that's plenty. I don't know. R-rated up a little more. Give me some titties. And give me some cuss words, because I'm a simple man with a simple brain, and I need my creature comforts. And we find out that Galligan was left the house, which I don't really feel like plays into the movie at all. Like, they just go from that room and find the stuff, and then he just goes off in time, and he never comes back. So he didn't need to leave him in the house. I just thought that was so. He's like, really? It's mine? Oh, it doesn't play into the movie at all. Like, it doesn't matter if he left him in the house or not. It just seemed unnecessary to me. It's not a problem. It's not like it presents itself as a problem in the movie. Like, well, how could he have done that if the... No, it's nothing like that. It's just thrown in there, and you're like, okay, how does that play into anything? It doesn't. But I guess... it needed to be said for some reason. All right. I always find it really, really funny. I see this in almost every movie where one of these hidden doors is featured. I always feel like the way to open them is just way too simple. Like, just pull this one book and it opens up my secret hiding spot for the most prized possessions, whatever. Really? One book? Like, what if someone's just looking through your book collection? They just happen to grab that book. Or one chess piece. Just pick up the Alice chess piece. Boom. There's only one thing in that room. A chessboard. You don't think people are going to come in there and move some of the chess pieces eventually? And all they had to do is pick up one of those chess pieces and move it? And boom. You've just given away the location to all of your prized possessions. I don't know. I always see this in movies and it makes me laugh. It's like, can't you make it something a little more difficult? Like, that's just, I don't know. I mean, you have a chessboard, okay. So put all of the pieces in a certain order. Something that, you know, is a super hardcore rarity, that there would be these pieces on the board only in these spots. You know, maybe like just 2 pawns in a certain location. How you're not going to have 2 pawns left really on a fucking chessboard, like, ever. So there you go. Like, it's just simple. It's just simple things like that that would make it much more believable than a fucking book or a piece of it, like a chess piece. I don't get that. I don't know why they do that in movies. That annoys me every time. Like, really? You just press the statue forward a little bit and boom, the door opens up? No one's ever going to touch that little statue? Never? Stupid. Just fucking stupid. I don't know why I get so annoyed, but I really do. Every single time. And okay, so then we get the Frankenstein story, which is first, and that one's okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It was kind of just there. Sarah is completely bought into the world like a couple times before she starts to, remember and figure it out. But she's like easily manipulated, and Galligan's character is never ever. But the ending of the Frankenstein segment was fantastic because Dr. Frankenstein gets his head crushed, and so as he's pushing, the teeth start shooting out like bullets and they're actually making that noise. Then his eyeballs start popping out, then his head explodes and the brain flies across the room, and Galligan catches it and throws it away. That's great shit. That's great shit. Like, you're gonna have fun, go and have fun. Now, it would have been even better if while that was happening, he was yelling fuck and Dr. Frankenstein's tits fell out. Okay, it wasn't a woman, but we could have made it for this purpose, just so we could have tits and cussing. All right, I probably don't need that, but it wouldn't have been bad. It wouldn't have been bad. Not believing this time does not work, so don't try that shit. So I like that they changed that up. Then we got the Bruce Campbell, I wanted to say cameo, because I want to say his role is pretty significant here. He's a secondary character, and he just becomes the punching bag for the comedic relief. It's everything that could go wrong. His chest is opened up, and, someone throws everything into his face and then a bag of salt onto his wounds, and then he tries to douse it out with something, and it's vinegar instead of water, and his whole chest cavity is completely open, exposing every rib in his body. Get the fuck out, he'd be so dead, doesn't matter. Then he falls straight onto his face and his chest. It's brutal stuff, but pretty funny, and of course Bruce sells it well. If anyone's going to be able to sell that kind of physical humor, that real silly humor, it's definitely Bruce. The alien segment might be my favorite thing in this movie. Like the whole like her in an alien movie, because I guess this is them jumping around in time, but it's like fictional time, I guess. I don't know, but they're jumping around and they enter this alien movie, and this alien is wrecking shop, and the alien's really cool looking, and the breathing through that guy's mouth and wraps around her neck and all that stuff. Really cool practical effects, good gore. Fun stuff. So I could have spent way more time there and took out the Scarabus stuff altogether, but whatever. Moving on. The haunted house stuff. Oh, I don't know. Some of the haunted house stuff before he gets to Bruce is really creepy. Like the walls all moving, and then that girl hanging and moving around up there and all that. Pretty eerie stuff. Actually pretty creepy, pretty horror-like. Albeit this movie being mostly a comedy or an adventure comedy horror third on that list. But yeah. And then yeah, I already said all that stuff. I like that he starts to read from the book, and it's all in this like Latin sounding language, and then Bruce is like, hey, book's upside down. That is a good joke. That was pretty funny. I thought he was going to say Klaatu, Veratu, Nictai. There, I said it. Yeah, Erling Bill. Good stuff. Bill. I always put something down here like I'm going to remember it. And then I'm like looking at it like, right. Bill. I wrote Bill down. I'm not sure why I wrote Bill down. Makes no fucking sense because just alien birth and then Bill something. I'm assuming there's a cameo or something. Who fucking knows? Alright, sets are super cheap in this. Like the sets really look like like a stage play. That's what it looks like. It looks like somebody built it for a stage play. But I thought that was kind of funny. We get Carl, as I said, from Die Hard, and his character in this is pretty damn lame. We find out from Wilfred the Raven now that this is like God's video game, and if people were to lose, then the Earth would end. I'm assuming this is something like Mortal Kombat or something. You know, when the bad guys win enough Mortal Kombats in a row, the Earth is done for. So this is that version of that. Time Warrior, there it is. Time Warrior. Sorry, I apologize. I should have remembered that. And we get a Drew Barrymore cameo in here, and she's only 17 in this movie, so I'm just gonna skip right past my thoughts on that. And Sarah wants to go home, or Sarah does not want to go home. She wants to stay with Zach, and he is just like, nope. Then he pushes her back so that he can send her the little time finder thing so that she can just come right back to him. Like, clear your name, which is a total risky proposition. Like, here, take this hand, which we don't even know is going to, absolve you of your crimes. Then I'm going to send it through time, very Back to the Future 2, which I just watched all three with my kids in the last few days, last couple days. So I thought it was kind of funny. I saw that. I was like, this is a full-on Back to the Future 2 ending. Like, where Doc sends the letter to Marty. He's like, meet here at this time, in this place, and everything. He hands him the thing. This is very that ending. And he absolutely got it from that, 100%. But anyways, he's like, join me. And she's like, all right, I'm going to go. And then the guy's like, where are you going to go next? And she's like, Disneyland. Just kidding. I'm going to go back to him. And it's like, fuck him. He pushed you back in there. You could have got the electric chair, which he warns her of twice, by the way. And he's like, no, it'll be better there. It will be better there? Really? It'll be better there? 100% that's going to clear her name? Because I'm not. Nor is anybody. But if she stays with you, she'll never be back to that reality. So she has a better chance, and she wants to stay with you, and you love her. He pushes through, I love you. If you love her, then keep her there. She wants to stay. There's a good chance she could die being pushed back through. That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense. Here, go fucking... I already explained it. I'm not going to explain it again, but it just... That ending was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then we get a rap video to end this movie, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. Anyways. All right, there you go. The Waxwork films. Not really sure why I picked these tonight, but I did. I got them out of the way. There was a series review all at once, and it's 1 a.m. Time for bed. I'm out of here. Adios.